Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to our IXION Let's Play, where things are about to get just a little bit more complicated, as I think it's time to unlock Sector 5. So many of you pointed out in the comments of the previous episode that we are leaving way too many resources on the table, and you're absolutely right. That is sheer foolishness. We really have to maximize and optimize everything we have available to us, especially if we're preparing for the worst, which, if we take a look at the Etaminanki, we most certainly should be doing. So, to that end, I think it's time to open Sector 5 even before the game prompts us to do so, and I think there are some major plans that need to be executed sooner rather than later. To that end, though, we have to make sure that we have enough power to sustain an additional sector and everything that's going to go into it, so rather than wait any longer to actually commission the construction of our next large solar panel, let's go ahead and get that party started right away. It's going to take quite a few polymers and quite a few electronics. We have the electronics on hand. Hopefully by the time that those are all collected and delivered to the construction site, we'll have enough polymers on hand as well, and construction will happen and will be done relatively shortly, right? The construction itself is pretty quick. It's just gathering the resources that actually takes a fair bit of time. And my plans with the new sector will actually tackle our electronics issue as one of its primary concerns. So I feel fairly confident that, our stockpile will return quickly enough, and then we can go ahead and resume some of the construction that we've put on hold for the last little while. If we take a look at Sector 4, again, we've paused all of these batteries. This stockpile over here has been paused as well. So all that stuff will be resumed after we take care of our new #1 priority, which is to actually unlock this next sector. And don't forget, unlocking a sector also involves unlocking the train station that goes with it, just to make sure that we're actually taking advantage of our health centers in Sector 3, right? So lots of big plans for Sector 5, lots of things we have to do to make sure we actually stay on top of it all. And besides that as well, I mentioned it a couple of episodes ago, I would very much like to build all of our solar panels before we leave this system, if possible, because I don't think we can actually pause our hull repair for extended durations when we have our next vol jump added on to the negatives over here. And let's not forget, adding on an additional open sector will further our hull depletion as well, right? So I want to make sure that we have all of our solar panels in place so that the pauses of hull repair are a bit more managed as opposed to coming as a surprise. With that said, though, it was actually pointed out in the comments of the same previous episode that I'm a little overly reliant on solar panels, aren't I? Who's to say we'll always have access to sunlight? And while I don't know if that's a veiled threat or a warning, I'm going to use that comment as a springboard for my next research decision, because I do think that's a very viable point. And while I can't click the button over here, I can most certainly click it over here, and I can go ahead and queue the nuclear power plant as the next thing to be researched. Right now, we're still optimizing our drone bay, which is fine by me. It's, about halfway there, so we'll let that complete, and then we'll move on to the nuclear power plant, which will take a fair bit of time to actually complete the research of, and then we'll see just how much space it takes, how many resources it actually requires, and if we can't accumulate enough hydrogen to keep it going for a decent bit of time, buy us a bit of a runway, so to speak, before we find ourselves working in the dark, right? I want to make sure we have the backup of the nuclear power plant and that we're not relying on just a singular source of power in those solar panels, right? You got to diversify for security, so that's exactly what I'm planning on doing over here. And beyond that as well, I want to make some adjustments as far as where our ships are placed, our cargo ships and mining ships. I think the Aldana or the Pelican can perhaps be brought down over here. Let's go ahead and get the Pelican. Well, let's get the Aldana down over here. If I could click it, there we go. And let's go ahead and get the Pelican up over here. If I can find you, there you are. And let's go ahead and move all of our science ships up over here. We have the Francis and we have the, where to go? Light bulb as well. Let's assign them over here alongside the cataphract. Now, I'm not sure if we actually need them to take slots up until it's time to leave, but I believe in future planning, so I'm not going to go ahead and fill up all the slots and not leave a spot for the Francis or the light bulb to return to if it's ever time to leave or if we otherwise need it. Right now, if you know better, feel free to let me know in the comments, but for the time being, I'm fairly comfortable with having this set up over here. And when it comes time to move colonists over to a potential, a potential colony site, we'll go ahead and swap one of these guys out for a cargo ship and deal with that at that point in time. or we'll move colonists from Sector 3 to somewhere else to get the job done. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For the time being, I'm fairly comfortable with the decisions made over here. Down over here, we're all topped up, right? Both of these guys, yes, indeed. Eventually, we'll build a third docking bay, but that's a conversation for later. And up over here, I do believe we have a slot available for a mining ship or for an additional cargo ship. I'm thinking, you know what, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we do another cargo ship over here, and maybe we do additional mining ships up over here. Kind of torn, truth be told. I feel like we need to actually get more mining done to gain access to resources more often, more quickly. Right now, for example, you know, there's 263 hydrogen out there, but no one's actually mining it. The Omnitron has been assigned to it, but it's been so preoccupied with carbon that it's not actually done anything there, and so no one's actually able to pick any of it up to bring back for our future nuclear power plant. So, yes, it's not a priority, but eventually it will be. And what happens then? Right, like, am I prepared for that inevitability? For the time being, the Pelican and the Eldana need to be reassigned over here. Let's get the Pelican doing what? Let's get the Pelican chasing after, I'm thinking, carbon, sure. And let's get the Eldana chasing after... There's a lot of food out there to pick up, eh? I mean, we don't need it, but we'd be fools to leave it behind, I suppose. No reason to chase after right now. Let's get the Eldana chasing after iron instead. Can always use more iron, right? Someone's on silicon already. We got a couple of people on carbon. That's all well and good. There are some electronics to pick up out there, but no one seems to be in a rush to do so. And I guess that's fine by me. Here, why don't we do this here? Let's flip that around just so this gets taken care of and it's not left behind. And Santa's sleigh is going to stick to ice, and it's going to stay at Sector 1 for the time being. Some of you pointed out that we could actually perhaps get rid of our docking bays in a couple of these sectors, and instead you know, just focus on docking bays down over here, and that's not a bad call. And that's probably what we're going to end up doing once I feel comfortable building this this stockpile and moving this one over. But for the time being, yeah, I want to dedicate those electronics to our solar panel and stuff like that, right? So gonna hold off on that decision for the time being. Do I need anything more right now, though? Urgently? Do I need to build something urgently? I guess another mining ship wouldn't hurt. And we could get additional cargo ships down the line. So many slots. But if we want to get rid of the Dampier eventually, I don't want to overburden this one, right? I want to make sure that I operate under the understanding that this will be gone soon. Though eventually it'll be replaced by one in Sector 3, so there's no reason to not build anything there. Alright, fair. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Cargo ship down over here. The cornucopia, sounds good. And up over here, you know what? Let's get mining ships. Because then we'll move these mining ships over to Sector 4. Sorry, that took a bit of back and forth there. Played some mental gymnastics with myself, but I think that's the right call. And then eventually we'll have an additional cargo ship and 2 mining ships positioned here, and we'll get rid of the one in Sector 1. The docking bay, I mean. Okay, cool. Cool, yeah. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Now, we do have polymers available in this sector, right? Because they are being produced over here, and hopefully they're being moved for production right away. They are indeed, so that's all well and good. And up over here, we have to be very wary of the fact that these mushroom walls are going to get completed, and they're going to start eating power, right? Again, this is very tight. So Sector 1 has this mushroom wall coming through and this mushroom wall coming through. We do not have 10 power to spare, so let's turn this one off for the time being, so that even when it's done being built, we we don't suddenly head into a blackout right away, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And I just want to check in Sector 4, do we have ice storage? We do. We do. Okay, cool. So when we do get rid of our docking bay over here, we will still be able to bring ice in to Sector 4 as well, right? So that's going to work out just fine. I do want to make sure that our Sector 4 carbon stockpile is trying to max out. Just want to pull as much as we can over here for starters, and then we can, of course, adjust to make sure we're not actually trying to stay maxed out and that we are actually distributing these resources as and when needed. To that end, Silicon, let's get you down to, well, let's say 600. That way, we'll be comfortable exporting whenever needed. Though, truth be told, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how smoothly this will operate. We'll see. We'll see, right? So it's just a matter of time. Still experimenting a little bit here and there. Do I want more cryonic pods in this sector? 610 population means we can actually have more. Let's take a look at fleet management really quickly. and see who is left without a task. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. It keeps scrolling the screen behind us when I have fleet management open. Interesting. Sorry. My digression aside, cornucopia was done being built. Okay, gotcha. Let's go ahead and get you pulling in what? How about you go chasing after iron as well? Go ahead and do that. And in Sector 4, the Aldana can maybe go chasing after food instead. Sure, let's do that. Just because we don't want to leave it out there, right? That'd be kind of foolish. Anyway, over to resource management, cryonic pods. Let's get you up to 610 in Sector 4, right? We just want to make sure that there are not more cryonic pods than actual people, because that's when you start seeing stability issues. And stability right now is actually looking fantastic over here, so that's promising at least. But let's try and keep it up there, right? I don't want to rest on my laurels, of course. All right, speed time up a little bit over here, just to make sure we're making progress at a decent rate. Construction is a long ways away from getting started. Are we storing electronics over here? We're not. Well, that explains it. Let's go ahead and flip you to electronics temporarily then, just to make sure we are delivering goods to here and then ultimately to here to get this work done, right? This is something I'm still not super pleased with, the constant switching back and forth. Though, truth be told, I don't think... Right, we have the drone bay here. Rather, sorry, the probe launcher here, not the drone bay. I don't think we would need... that's the thing. It's like the need for polymers and electronics are both so like temporary at any given time in Sector 3. Ironically, though, we need both of them at the same time right now if we want to provide resources for the EVA airlocks to build a solar panel. But why don't we go ahead and take a look at Sector 3. Electronics, you're not trying to hold on to any. Let's make sure you're pulling some in, and they're immediately getting delivered up over here, right? Okay, cool. Cool. Kind of a strange space I find myself in, where everything's operating relatively smoothly, but we're like right around the corner from just absolute horror, right? Like getting a new sector, on the brink of blackouts at basically all times. Our population continues to grow at a great rate, which is something I would like to tackle with this additional sector. Food is still looking okay, but don't forget that we are planning on adjusting our food policies, right, to make sure people are getting normal portions, and that's going to take a bit of a hit over here. But of course, we have the mushroom wall over here that's being built as well. That'll eventually be activated and help us out. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts. Right now, things are calm, but this is very much the calm before the storm. Ironically, considering the storm is actually well behind us, so to speak, as far as the system's concerned. With that said, though, let's take a look at our probe and see if there isn't anything else we can seek out. Perhaps it's time to consider hydrogen a bit more seriously. Let's go ahead and send you out over there. And then when we actually switch this guy back to polymers, it'll serve two purposes. One is, of course, the EVA airlocks getting what it needs, and the other is this bad boy over here needing what it needs as well. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are not storing any electronics in Sector 3 anymore. Turn you back off. And let's try and move those electronics to where they're actually useful. So this is getting done. That's good. Why are we saving electronics now? Well, to unlock the additional sector and to build the train station there as well, right? That'll take a fair bit of resources. 4 to unlock the sector, and then I think it's 3 to build the train station. So want to make sure we have enough before we start building this stockpile over here, and then we can make that move with regards to some of our ships down over here. Cool. Feeling pretty good. All right. We could even potentially go to triple speed, I think. Let's make sure that we are actually bringing polymers into Sector 3. Supposedly we are. Sector 4, are you holding on to them a little bit too much? You are indeed. Why don't we go ahead and make sure Sector 4 is instead targeting 100, and that way those guys will get pushed over to... Hang on a second. Sector 4, 100 polymers. Sector 3 is pulling some, and it's going to use those polymers to build... Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure that was all good. Another ship is ready to go. Gluttony, one of our mining ships. Let's get you mining hydrogen as a priority, and then we can start bringing some hydrogen in as well. I keep... Is this new? I don't remember things zooming out with the fleet management tab open, but it's happening all the time now, and it's throwing me off. But I digress. Do I need hydrogen storage over here? Right now, our hydrogen storage is up over in Sector 2, right? Yeah. Which is kind of useless. I don't think we're going to be able to fit any nuclear power plants in Sector 2. So that's going to have to move. But where to? I mean, logic dictates it should end up over here probably, right? But how much hydrogen do we need at any given time? Do we pop storage down over here? We have this 2 gap, which we're not going to be able to do anything with. But if I put a stockpile down, it's not going to fit. Medium's not going to fit either. Wait, if I move the road up another step, that would work. A little haphazard looking, but it would work, right? The other option is what? Is to forgo the docking bay over here for storage instead. Or, of course, to put storage up top over here. And forgo a third cryonic center, which to me is probably feeling like the right call right now. I really wish this was all just a little bit neater. Just a few more straight lines would make me that much happier. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it would make me just a little bit happier. Let's go ahead and unpause this construction over here just to make sure this one gets done and we can get to work over here, because these guys only take alloys, right? And the sooner we have them done, the sooner we're able to free up some space up over here and just change our approach to things, such as where, you know, ice and cryonic pods are held until they're ready for processing or use otherwise. How are we looking as far as alloys over here are concerned? Sector 1, you are chasing after 30. Sector 4 is trying to hold on to 840. Let's drop that down to 400 so that it is actually pushing some of those alloys out. Right, this is what I mean by needing to stay on top of this. Like, initially, I wanted to get everybody topped up, and then we'd be able to, you know, make their desired amount a bit lower, and they'd work towards exporting until they reach that low number of 10 or whatever. But I do want to still use these guys as stockpiles. I don't want them to end up not being full, and then we end up with the same kind of bottleneck at our actual docking bays as we were seeing, you know, a couple sessions ago. I don't want that to end up happening. Like, we got so much carbon over here. Why? Right? Why? This isn't topped up, right? And if we take a look at resource management, Sector 4, carbon, you are topped up. Oh, okay. Huh. We need to stop acquiring carbon. We really don't need that much carbon. There isn't that much left. But interesting. Okay. I didn't expect to be in that position. Barnacle, meanwhile, is done being built as well. Another mining ship. Why don't we get you mining some hydrogen? And let's go ahead and scout out some additional iron and silicon. We are almost out of resources in this system, folks. We're going to have to leave relatively soon. I need to make sure everything's in position for that moment. We got some silicon down over here. Is there any iron? Ooh, hello. That seems like a decent spot. This says high. This says medium. How does that make any sense? All right, I'll go with this. That's got to be better, right? Let's send you down over here and see if we can't find new spots to mine some more. And again, let's make sure we completely mine out this system as best as we can before we leave. All right. Okay. Feeling pretty good? Feeling all right. This stockpile is done. It's going to take electronics. Let's go ahead and turn you off to get all those goods moving. And then we can actually destroy this. Go ahead and dismantle you. Yes. And can we build? No, we can't. We cannot yet build another docking bay without having a blackout hit us. Polymers, we have 101. That should be enough to get this thing done. So what are we looking at in terms of resource management? Sector 3, you're trying to hold on to 20 at a time. So they're still coming through. It's just a matter of how long it takes to then deliver them to the EVA airlocks. Okay, fair enough. Movement is happening. Let's speed time up to actually get this done. Because that's the big bottleneck before we're able to both open this sector and build our additional docking bay over here. Well, actually, I say that, but we can obviously commission the construction of the docking bay and just make sure it doesn't turn on when it's done being built. Where is my space? Docking bay, pop you down. Oh, right, we got to get rid of that road there as well, right? Get rid of you. And let's get the docking bay down over here. Let's make sure that you are going to stay off because you take way too much power and we simply cannot afford that right now. So this should again help clear out some space in Sector 1 and we can use this space then for, I don't know, more mushroom walls, for more housing, whatever it might be. And at the same time, this mushroom wall just got completed. We are topped up as far as food storage is concerned. And now I'm wondering if we don't want to do something about that. If we take a look at Sector 4, these guys are stockpiling ice up over here, not food. Really got to figure that out. Like, we're slammed in terms of our storage capacity, but eventually, with enough people waking up and enough mouths that need feeding, our storage capacity might need to go just that much higher, right? We can cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose. That's always a safe approach, right? That's always a safe approach. Waiting for later to tackle things. Up over here, this is being focused on now, so this mushroom wall will be done relatively soon. Electronics are looking pretty good, so it is really just the polymers and the solar panel that we're waiting for over here. And don't get me wrong, we have enough polymers. It's just a matter of delivering them to the right space. I love physicalized resources. It adds such an extra layer of consideration and management. Big fan of that stuff. But then sometimes it comes to bite me in the butt, and I go, "Damn! I wish it was instantaneous." Not actually. I much prefer this, especially for management games and city building games and colony management games. Much prefer this. But definitely biting us right now. All these mining ships are coming down over here. That's great to see. They all have their responsibilities. We could maybe seek out some additional carbon, I suppose. Everyone's bringing something in. Silicon is no longer available out there, but some of it is being mined. Okay, excellent. Let's keep sending some probes out, and let's just make sure people are doing something or the other at any given time. We gotta. Back to the interior over here. How are things looking? Are you actually going to get built? Do we not? Yeah, we got plenty. Oh, right. Doesn't matter how many resources we have if we don't actually have a road connection. There we go. Get that bad boy built at least, right? So that as soon as our solar panels are done, we are able to activate the docking bay, and then eventually this mushroom wall as well. You are off, right? Yes, you are off. We're not about to see a blackout. We have plenty of electronics. You know what? This is actually looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and unpause you. And separately, let's also go ahead and resume you too. Let's make sure we're trying to hit that 5 cycles worth of backup power at the same time as everything else. And of course, with opening Sector 5, we'll want to make sure we have 5 cycles worth of backup power there too. I have a bit of a layout planned for Sector 5. I really hope I'm able to make it work, because I want housing. We're gonna need some storage. I was hoping to use it for electronics manufacturing as well, and waste. A little bit of everything. Can't do that. That's obviously not an option. We'll sort it out. But I've got some initial plans at least, and then we'll finesse and fine tune as that sector develops. But for the time being, we've got all these batteries being built. We're still moving polymers for our additional solar panels. And I'm kind of tempted to queue up the next set of solar panels immediately as well. What I do know I need to queue up is the little discovery we made last time, right? Our drone jammer. We definitely don't want to leave this system without the drone jammer built, and that's actually not that difficult to do. We have plenty of carbon to convert into polymers right now. We got plenty of silicon to convert into electronics, so I don't think we'll be in a position where we don't have 4 and 90 of electronics and polymers respectively to get the drone jammer done. But with that said, we want to make sure we don't deprioritize this by so much that we do find ourselves in that position, or that we forget about it before we leave this system, right? A lot of moving parts right now, but that's what I mean. It's like, it's almost automatic right now. Everything that's happening right now, is just happening. I don't have to intervene, but when the time comes to intervene, there's so many things to keep in mind, and so many it's just moving parts. Gonna go up to speed 3 right now because we're really waiting on this bottleneck over here. Wish I'd stayed on top of that a bit better, but hey, while we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and build these guys as well, right? Resume you and resume you. These guys don't consume power, they don't need workers, so that's all well and good. And once they're done, we should hopefully have 5 cycles worth of batteries here as well. I mean, geez, it takes so long to actually charge these batteries, and I wouldn't be surprised if having a lower surplus means it takes longer for batteries to charge. That would make sense to me. I don't know if that's how the game actually works, but that would make sense to me. As up over here, you've been completed. I don't know if 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries are going to be enough for 5 cycles worth of backup. And again, the plan is to build an additional battery over here if not. So we've got room for it. We're perfectly positioned for that, so not too concerned on that front. Separately, in Sector 4 right now, where we have a stability of 4, why don't we go ahead and get waste management going? We should get waste recycling, get a stockpile for waste, and then actually move that waste to where it can be processed into something else. Though again, that means we don't have room for other kinds of storage. You know what? Here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to go ahead and get a medium stockpile up over here, and just keep the 2 cryonic centers over here. I think we've kind of... I think that's just the reality of the situation. I could check, I suppose. Cryonic center, if I put you down there, we have a 2 slot left over. That's not enough. If we pop you down like this, that's 4 across, and I believe a stockpile is 4 across, so we wouldn't be able to fit multiple stockpiles in and still give them road access. Let me just check. I just want to make sure I've measured all my options over here, right? That's part of these games, is to make sure you've checked and double checked, made sure you're in the clear before you make a hasty decision. So I think it's time to forego a 3rd cryonic center over here. I just think that's the reality of the situation, and instead we're going to want to build a couple of stockpiles. So a medium stockpile for hydrogen, and a medium stockpile for, what was the other thing? I can't fit a medium here. Okay, it's going to get a little janky. Let's go ahead and dismantle you. But I remember wanting 2 medium stockpiles. What were they for? One was for... Right, waste. One was for hydrogen, one was for waste. Though I say that now, and I almost wonder immediately if waste needs a medium stockpile. Not sure. With only this many buildings, I don't know if we need a medium one. But we definitely need a medium one for hydrogen, I think. Almost certainly. Let's go ahead and pop you down. Ooh, interesting. Like that? It's a... Gives us room for 2 mediums, and then we can fit a small down over here as we were discussing previously. Yeah, I suppose we could do that, sure. Looks nice. I like how it looks. Pop you down like that. Go ahead and get the road down like so. Let's make sure that you are not turning on because we don't have enough power to actually power these guys. And let's go ahead and get you stockpiling hydrogen and you stockpiling waste. Oh, we can't even give it that command until we've got the policy set. Okay, fair enough. We need 8 more workers over here. Do we have enough workers? Yeah, we got enough workers. Well, 8 times 2 actually. We'll need 16 more workers, but we got that. We're okay. Cool. Speed time up once more. Try and get these guys done, but again, can't actually power them on. Want to make sure they're both off. Have to be so careful about that. Because again, a blackout will hurt trust, and while it's not the end of the world, just want to be a bit more cognizant of our circumstances, right? And I think once this solar panel is done being built, we'll go ahead and, yes, unlock the additional sector and do all the stuff I was talking about earlier, and then immediately perhaps commission the construction of additional solar panels. Because as you can see, it takes quite a bit of time just to get the resources to the right place and to get everything kind of up and running, so to speak. I just wonder if I do ultimately build a stockpile over here. I keep flipping back and forth between wanting an additional stockpile over here and wanting more housing over here. But maybe once Sector 5 is up and running, I'll be able to make that decision once and for all because of the plans I have for Sector 5. But let's get there first, right? Let's get there first. I mean, these resources are moved almost instantaneously. Could I potentially... I'm almost wondering if there are some movements of goods that I could stop, that I just don't need anymore. Like, do I need a constant supply of alloys in Sector 1? Well, not really. But it's not like we're storing that much anyway. Sector 1, once it gets to 30, no one's distracted by bringing things to Sector 1 anymore. So, what's the point of turning it off? It's a good idea to always have some on hand in case there's an accident or something, right? Right. Now, let's head on to the technology tree and take a look at our next upgrade after the power plants are researched. I'm kind of tempted to hold off and see if there's something else here that I'd like to focus on instead. Though at the same time, I almost wonder if we shouldn't just chase after a permanent moisture, and just produce food that much faster. Though, it's really not necessary, is it? Really not necessary. Alternatively, we could do what? Alternatively, we could take a look at our drone bays a little bit more, if I could find them again. I know they're here somewhere. There we go. And we could maybe consider soft jet propellers to increase how many resources they can move at any given time. That's probably not a bad idea, actually. Let's queue that up instead. Just want to make sure we're staying on top of things so that when this gets done, we're not, sitting idly. On which note, let's go ahead and send another probe out to make sure that our mining ships and cargo ships are never sitting idly either. Send you down over to where? Seems like we have a good spot down here somewhere. Yeah, iron and silicon. Probably not a bad idea, actually. Send you down to here. And let's just take a look at our fleet. Yeah, see, we need silicon, we need hydrogen. We're running out of resources to acquire here. I need to send probes more frequently. And look, we're fine as far as our stockpiles are concerned. But I do not want to rest on my laurels, ever. And we shouldn't be sitting idle. Given the chance, right? Given the opportunity, we shouldn't be sitting idle. So I got to just stay on top of that as best as possible. Solar panel is almost ready to be built. We're going to take a bit of a hit to our hull integrity. But once that's done, we're going to go ahead and turn this EVA airlock back on and repair ourselves just that much faster. Again, in preparation for the fact that we are going to unlock another sector and take a further hit to our hull depletion and all that good stuff, right? This is all well and good. Eventually, we'll start stockpiling waste. These batteries are charging very slowly but surely. Fair enough, fair enough. Move time a little bit faster here, please. Let's go. I'm pretty good, though. I guess I could build additional drone bays. What I can't tell is if drone bays pick things up from other sectors to bring them back to their home sector. That's something I haven't been able to tell. But this guy's going into... It looks like he picked up some alloys over there and is now delivering them up over here. That's what it looks like that guy just did, right? So that tells me that the drones aren't dedicated to the sector where they are built or managed from. Yeah, I need to double check that. I need to double check that before I, build drone bays everywhere and find out that that's not the case. That would be very suboptimal. Speed time up once more. Keep forgetting that pausing and unpausing takes it back to speed 1, not to the last speed you were at. But there's our solar panel being built right now. Hull integrity is going to take a huge hit as that construction is happening, but it is happening at a decent enough rate. And like I said, we'll turn this back on immediately afterwards, and we'll get it done. We'll get everything repaired and looking good. But this will allow us to unlock our next sector, where we're going to make some big decisions that I think should have actually happened last session, if not 2 sessions ago. But look, I don't feel that bad about our current circumstances. I feel pretty comfortable, actually. Yes, this could have happened sooner, but at the end of the day, it's genuinely not the end of the world. I know I say that very often, but quite genuinely and truly, it is not the end of the world this time around. But yes, let's go ahead and wait a little bit longer. You know what? Let's wait a little bit longer. With that warning coming up, let's wait just a little bit longer before we pop open our next sector, get this thing done. There we go. Go ahead and turn you on just to make sure we're repairing as quickly as possible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and override the locks for Sector 5. With this done, yes, it'll take some time, but with this done, we should be able to comfortably manage everyone that's waking up right now, and our situation as far as all these like non-workers and stuff as well. There's a lot that I'm considering with Sector 5. I just have to be careful not to give it too many responsibilities. That's when we get the haphazard messes that we've seen a couple times. All right, let's hang on a second here. That happened a lot faster than I was expecting. We only have 43 power available. That's actually not that much. That's actually not that much at all. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and commission the construction of the next solar panel right away, because clearly we need it, and there's like no time to waste. Let's head back on to the interior, and let's first figure out if we have enough workers in Sector 4. Because again, 40 workers just disappeared over to Sector 5, right? Looks like we're still okay over here. We're about to add, what? 8 times 2, 16, 30. So that's 46 workers. Another 46 workers on top of what they already have. We'll take them up to 190, 114. So we'll still have a bit of a surplus, but not all that much. Let's go ahead and move some workers over to Sector 4. From where, though? Who has a surplus of workers? Okay, Sector 1 actually does have a surplus of workers. That's good. Sector 3, not as much of a surplus, but there is some. There is some. Do I bring like 100 workers over? I can't do that. Even over here, I can't bring 100 over. Let's bring, let's say, 60 workers over, I suppose. We got room for them. Yeah. So, 60 workers only from Sector 1 down to Sector 4, right? Make sure we make up for the people that move to Sector 5 and then some. So start that migration. Only workers. Cool. Let's go ahead and make sure that Sector 1 is able to activate this mushroom wall and not have any concerns with regards to its worker count. I think we'll be okay. Again, people are going to continue waking up in Sector 1 as well, so the balance will be maintained, right, in some way or the other. And let's head on down to Sector 5 now and actually manage our layout over here. So, here's what we're going to do. First of all, let's build a road that lines up with this thing, because my plan is kind of built around a singular road going down this time around, as opposed to the pair of roads that I've typically done. This time around, it's just a singular road, and I want to clear up as much space down over here as possible, as quickly as possible. Let's go ahead and do this. Cool. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put down my workshops and stockpiles and stuff like that for starters. Okay, hang on. Let's see, where do we have it over here? Up top over here, eh? I'm just trying to figure out if I can do a similar thing, because I like this layout a lot. If I can recreate something like this, then I would like to do that for sure. But before we can have that conversation, there's all these conversations to have, right, with the workshops and all that good stuff. So, all right, here's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and build the workshop down over here so it can work kind of center out. Let's get our stockpile built over here for the time being. This one's for alloys. This one's going to be for food. We'll see if we can't fit a mess hall back over here. We can't, right? Okay, we can't. A little too tight. That's okay, because that's where this road's not going to stay over here, actually. This messy start is always such a frustration. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead and pop you down over here. And we'll reorganize as soon as we can. Okay. I'm going to slow time down a little bit now just to make sure that I am able to stay on top of clearing all this out and I'm able to operate as quickly as possible over here rather than leaving things idle for too long, because that's going to be the death of me at this point in time. Up over here, we are delivering polymers right now. I do wonder if we switch to electronics just to get that over with and so that we're working with actual numbers. Maybe not a terrible idea. Sure, you know what, let's flip you to electronics for the time being, and over at resource management, let's get you storing electronics instead. Just the 3 for the time being. Once we get this up to 6, we'll flip this back to polymers and deal with that. Up over here, let's go ahead and collect all of you. Want to clear some of these guys out as well. Move you up like so. Clear these guys. Yeah, that should do the trick. Again, I want to make sure I'm clearing the right alloys at the right time to build in the order that I want to build. So I got to clear this area out for starters. Right, okay, cool. Always messy to start with. I also want to clear this out so the road can be cleaned up, but again, I want to make sure I'm able to build as we're cleaning up, just so this stockpile doesn't top up and I don't have to deal with resource management stuff. With that said, though, let's make sure that food is always available over here in Sector 5. We always want a minimum of, let's call it 4 food for the time being. 4 feeds more than 40 people, but it doesn't hurt to have a surplus, right? But yes, let's keep it at that. Can we not export, please? Just hold on to it. Sector 5, food, 4. Cool. Just want to make sure that we stay on top of that. All right, cool. That's all well and good. Speed time up a little bit, and let's go ahead and make sure that we are in fact building the train station here as well. For that, though, we will need another stockpile. So let's clear this out and put a stockpile down over there, where eventually we'll, I think, have our food stockpile. Again, potentially gonna adjust these plans, obviously, but I gotta work with something. What do you? Can we not prioritize the harvesting of this Go ahead and... I can't even pause the construction of the train station. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough, leave it be for the time being, leave it be. It's, at least they're operating, at least they're getting some work done. They have food, homelessness is a bit of an issue, but it is, I don't think, impacting stability just quite yet, because they have that plus 10 from opening a new sector. By the time that plus 10 is gone, we'll have the homelessness situation taken care of. Or at least that's the hope. I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's go ahead and build the stockpile over here. Again, doesn't need to be a big one. This will ultimately be for food, though for the time being it's for electronics. Truth be told, we will need an electronics stockpile here as well, but for the time being, we're using our temporary layout, right? And then that's fine by me. Let's get this thing built so we can actually bring electronics down over here. Do any of these hold electronics is the question, that we don't have to bring them in from elsewhere. Doesn't seem to be the case. Huh. Really? Well, that's a bit of a surprise. I would have expected the further we went along, they'd have more and more electronics as opposed to alloys, but I guess not. Fair enough. So resource management, Sector 5 will want electronics. Let's try and hold on to 3. That seems to be a decent number to try to hold on to. Let's go ahead and make sure that this thing gets built. Make you a high priority so that all alloys get shifted there first. And let's start clearing some of these guys out as well. Cool. This will be good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Clear this guy out as well. Yep, that should be all well and good. And we'll clear these guys out too, just so I can straighten this road out and make sure I can actually plan accordingly. Let's get our road laid down over here. So we're going to move you over to there and up to there. So we're connected like that. And then we can go ahead and clear this road out. And this one, though, needs to take a couple of connections, right? Just because we got to clear all these guys out as well. Pick you up. You are stockpiling electronics, please. Let's go and bring some of those in. Let's go ahead and build this road properly. I'll wait until this construction is done before we demolish these roads over here, just to keep the connection up to this. And let's make sure, again, that electronics are actually coming through. Sector 5, you're trying to hold on to. I guess I never registered the 3 that I said to hold on to. Nonetheless, we have it registered now. So those electronics will hopefully be coming through, and that'll allow us to build the train station over here to make sure that healthcare, at least, is taken care of. That's a fairly urgent need. Up over here, I need to flip you over to polymers once more. Let's go ahead and make sure that Sector 3 is no longer chasing electronics. Instead, it's chasing 20 polymers at a time. Those are going to be used to build the solar panel that's coming soon. And then, after that solar panel, and after some of our management of Sector 5, we'll see if we have enough power left over to activate some of the construction that we've already invested in. My goodness. All right. Go ahead and clear this out. All right. And once these guys are all done, and as the train station over here is being built as well, we can celebrate the fact that the nuclear power plant has been unlocked. Let's take a look at how big this thing actually is. Ooh, okay. You are 9 by 9. What an awkward size you are. And waste treatment centers are also 9 by 9. Okay, okay. Okay, so we got something interesting there. We got something interesting there. Lots of electronics and alloys needed to build the nuclear power plant, but definitely something to consider sooner rather than later. And it would lock up very nicely with the waste treatment center, not so much with the electronics factory, right? Unfortunately. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I mean, electronics so far has been okay, and again, waste treatment center can be used for electronics as well as any of the other urgently needed resources, so that's not too much of a concern. It's not too much of a problem, rather, I should say. I'm okay with that. And I just want to make sure this is lined up nicely, because if it is, we'll want to take this all the way to the end there, and we'll have to adjust some of this this stuff, and then we can start my my overall planning for the layout of this sector. I'm pretty pleased with what I have in mind. Hopefully it'll actually work out as I picture it, but only time will tell, right? Are we building? Oh, I guess we're building the railway station. That's fine. That is a topmost priority, and it looks like we are done. You know, I'm guessing there was a patch that removed the visual of the trains going back and forth, and if that's so, I would say that's the right call, because it was really kind of getting in the way. It was really a little jarring, I guess is the right word. All right, let's go ahead and build a road down over here to get rid of this junk over here as well. Go ahead and get you connected too. And then I can dismantle this road and replace, or rather replace, some of these stockpiles and the workshop as well. Again, not exactly sold on exactly where they're going to end up. Maybe they should be up over here because can't really build anything tall up against the wall. We're not going to have any docking bays or probes or anything in Sector 5. On which note, I need to stay on top of my probes. I desperately need to stay on top of these guys, and I keep forgetting. It is not good. Let's send you down to here, and the next one we'll send over to, there was another like carbon deposit or something up over there, right? I gotta stay on top of that, guys. I gotta stay on top of it. It's like urgent. Let's go ahead and pull some more hydrogen in as well. I suppose Sector 4 is going to hold on to hydrogen, right? So why don't we go ahead and do that? We'll leave food behind. Food is my least concern right now. Famous last words, I think. Go ahead and pick these guys up. And then once this is cleared, yeah, we'll make our adjustments. I'll have to pause as I make those plans, I think. 27 power is available right now. We gotta focus on Sector 5 before I activate these guys. I think so. Alright, cool. We done over here. We are indeed a little bit faster than I'd anticipated, forcing me to make moves quicker than I'm comfortable with making them. But here we are, folks. Let's go ahead and pause, just because this will be a bit intense as far as planning is concerned. So, first order of business, or among the first orders of business, is going to be to establish a DLS center down over here. And I want to try and mimic this as best as possible, because this worked out really nicely, I think. So yes, let's go ahead and build a DLS center like so. Then we can go ahead and build our where to go, alternative life center up over here. Yes, and it'll fit snugly as long as we get rid of this road like so. Where'd you go? There you are. Cool, let's do that. These guys will tuck in nicely over here. We're still bringing in electronics to help build these guys, and that's all well and good. Cool. Then what? Then, all right, then I want to what? Build houses. I want to build lots and lots of houses. Where is my population tab? Demotic quarters. How do I want to do this? I want to basically want to start at one end and basically do this kind of a thing. I should be, if I got all this right. Oh, I guess I didn't. You for real? That's fine. I was going to say I should be snug, and I'm not. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's because, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, actually. You know what? That is fine. Just trying to figure out if I want a road up top there, or if I want to nudge this road up by one step. If I nudge it up by one step, what difference is that going to make? If I take a look at my stockpiles, sorry, my large stockpile, it'll fit nicely over here. If I take a look at the battery layout, these fit nicely over here. So I'm all good with that. So you know what? Here, let's go ahead and actually cancel. Come on now. Cancel all of you, and instead we're going to go ahead and build our houses like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Our road can go all the way to the back there to make sure all these houses are connected, and then we'll go ahead and build, come on now, 1, 2, where are we? 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is about 600 houses right there, demotic quarters. Good quality living for 600 plus, more like 660, close to 700, right? And that, my plan is to keep that going for quite a bit further out. Let's go ahead and actually lay that out for the time being. Let's go ahead and pop all these guys down. I wish I could like click and drag, you know? Like almost like zoning. But let's pop you all down over here. Cool. And what's going to happen is... no, we can't do this. We have to skip a step. My bad. Don't worry. I had that in mind when I was planning it, but right now while recording it skipped my mind. Let's go ahead and put a step there because we need a road to go all the way up there. And then pop these guys down over here like so. And we can fit another one there. Road in the back. Now, my thinking was that on the other side of this, I could fit 1, 2, 3 more, right? So I can actually get this going all the way to the end. I don't know if I would need that, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have. Let's go ahead and get this road commissioned down over here and get this road commissioned up over there as well. Cool. So we'll have another house up over there once we've cleared these guys out, and basically we'd keep going 2 wide, right, and go all the way up to here, which would allow this road to then actually go up this way. And that kind of cleanly locks things off. And then on this side, I was thinking we'd do our waste stockpile, waste treatment, all that kind of good stuff, and maybe even a nuclear power plant. If we take a look at where is the power plant factory, right? Like, these guys are pretty big, but if I can get a pair of these, right? What I was thinking with electronics factories, I haven't cleared off enough room to put them all down. But if I can put 1, 2, 3 electronics factories, right? That's pretty huge. But maybe I should prioritize waste treatment and nuclear power plant here instead. Nonetheless, housing I think is a good idea, because housing not only will provide homes for everybody who is currently homeless, but it'll also provide us with waste, to which end we will want waste storage and the right policy over here. There's still work to be done, though. Let's go ahead and move some of these guys over. Let's get this stockpile dismantled and moved, though we have to commission the actual moving first, I suppose. Let's get those guys built over here, and we'll keep all the factories and stuff up over here, I think. God, I hope I'm doing this right, because if I do this, or let's say alloys, and this for electronics, and this would be food, just because it feels a bit more fitting. We get a workshop over here. We can't fit the workshop over here. Where could I fit the workshop? Do I want to nudge this up a step? No, because this line here is very good mathematically for us. I suppose I could take a look at this sector over here. Got these batteries. I could maybe fit the workshop up over here. No, because that's 3 wide as opposed to 4 of the workshop. God damn. All right, fair enough, fair enough. We'll put the workshop down over here, I think. And we'll just adjust our roads accordingly. Yeah, sure. Not convinced, I'll be honest with you. Not entirely convinced. How do our batteries look? Tier 2s, one will fit here. One will fit right above it. Yes. And then a tier 3 will fit over here, not leaving enough room for a workshop, right? Okay, so pop a workshop down over here then. Sure. We can always adjust this if we need to. You can tell which parts I had more confidently planned versus which ones I was a bit more like, yeah, we'll figure it out as we get there. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, now let's go ahead and actually dismantle a bunch of these, because we don't need this much right off the bat, nor do we have the resources for it, right? Because these guys each take 2 power apiece. We don't have that much, right? We do not have that much. Let's go ahead and dismantle what? All these guys. We know what we're planning on doing here, and that's good enough for me right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being built. That's enough for 500 people to live here. It's going to be huge relief. But with 5, that's also 10 power, which is acceptable. Okay, cool. So that's all well and good. And we'll want to nudge all this around eventually. Let's go ahead and have time moving forward. And hopefully my planning is correct here. This could all go horribly wrong. Don't get me wrong. This could all go very, very horribly wrong. But I do think I've got it right. And I do think we have enough alloys for at least some of this construction to be completed urgently. Although we will need to collect more, so let's make sure we stay on top of that as well. Road up over here. Can I get you up to there? Just for the time being to collect... that was actually kind of useless, wasn't it? Oh well, too late now. Pop you like so, pop you like so. Clear all that out. This is being cleared out already. Let's go ahead and get the road over here as well. And over here. Get all these guys cleared out. Slowly but surely getting our work done over here. There we go. There we go. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. This will be good. Our electronics still coming through. What's going on here? Sector 5, you're chasing 3. Sector 2 has none. Sector 3 has none. And it's taking none. Sector 4 is trying to hold on to 4. Let's get you down to 2 for the time being. Just because I pretty urgently want at least 1 house built here in Sector 5. Pretty urgent. There we go. Some electronics coming through. Cool. And then we can start actually moving people here as well. And of course, with the... okay, good. You are a high priority. With the DLS center up and running, we'll then have, you know, waste management and all that good stuff. How is our situation here looking? Pretty good. Pretty all right. We are currently collecting polymers. Yes, let's speed time up a little bit. And let's make sure that we're staying on top of probes. Launch another one. Get some silicon somewhere over here. Come on, where'd you go? Sure, pop you over there. So many ships sitting idle right now. So many ships sitting idle right now. We have plenty of resources for the preparation that still needs doing. But I don't want to dally too much. Over here, you know what? We don't have enough batteries. We can confirm that we don't have enough batteries. So why don't we go ahead and build that tier 2 battery that I was promising up over here. And we can kind of check that box and not have to worry about it anymore. Down over here, meanwhile, are we ready to turn you on, Mushroom Wall? Not necessarily. We don't even need you for the time being. Though once we change our policies, we perhaps will. That's a bridge to cross later, or perhaps burn. And down over here, how are we looking? 9.8 cycles worth of batteries. Okay, so a bit of overkill over here, I suppose. Some of these things still need to turn on, but oh my goodness. And if you take a look at this, actually, we're very close to waking all those 2,000 cryonic pods up. We still have 900 waiting to be awoken, but we're almost there as far as our objective is actually concerned. So that's interesting, actually. I do wonder if these cryonic centers were unnecessary. Considering that I wanted to get Sector 5 unlocked as well. Nonetheless, no use wondering about that. That's behind us now. Let's go ahead and collect all these alloys, get everything cleaned up, get everything built up, and make some progress. Electronics is really not moving as quickly as it felt like it once was. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. I was like, what's going on over here? It's just that this is the EVA airlock that is also on right now. Why don't we go ahead and... let's go ahead and turn this one off. Because polymers will more quickly be shipped down to here. Yeah, we're only shaving like 30 seconds off the time, but it's something. I'll take whatever I can get. Let's go ahead and launch another probe to see, yes, what we can get. There's some carbon up over there. Go ahead and scoop that up, I suppose. That we desperately need it or anything. Let's take a look at resource management, Sector 4. Carbon, you are trying to, not just trying to, but you're successfully staying maxed up, so that's great. But yeah, what is happening to electronics here? Geez, are we really operating at the same rate as we were before? I guess we're just consuming a lot faster than we were before, right? With all the housing that we're building and everything. But hey, at least we got enough homes for the initial inhabitants over here. And we can actually bring an additional 60 plus over right away if we'd like. I just would like to get some of the stuff organized first, I think. I'm going to go ahead and prioritize... Do I want to prioritize some of these guys? Alright, let's do this. Let's go ahead and prioritize you and you, because I want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on sector stability, right? When we lose at 10, I guess we'll only be at 0, which is not great. We want to get propaganda activated ASAP, so we got to make sure that's happening. Electronics. There's one floating around somewhere on the station. These guys all got some delivered to them, eh? So I could actually cancel some of these guys and use those electronics for some of this more important construction instead. Why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and cancel you. Actually, hang on. Nope. I just want to make sure everything's lined up nicely. Get rid of you, get rid of you, get rid of you. Cool. Get the road down back over here. And now we can go ahead and cancel you, because now just a little bit more comfortable knowing that everything's in place. Cool. Speed time up. All well and good. Sector 5 has this warning, but that's not accurate. That's all fine. This guy's getting its electronics that it needs. Yes. Alloys are low. Let's make sure that alloys are being shipped to Sector 5. Try and stay at, let's say, 60. Right? And Sector 4 here, try and aim for 200. And then Sector 4 should be bringing a bunch over. And then we'll go ahead and get Sector 4 maxing out once again. Again, Sector 4 should have a much easier time bringing those alloys over, compared to, well, literally any other sector. Right now, Sector 2 got assigned, but that's unnecessary. Ooh, Sector 2, what's your stability? Neutral. Alternative Life Center goes down, immediately hit neutral stability. Not a good look. Not a good look. Back out to the system map, let's launch another probe, see what else we can pick up out there. Lots of ice, some iron I saw. Ooh, some carbon up over here. Let's go for it. Go for it. Alright, cool. Feeling good so far. This is definitely going to take us over 5 cycles worth of backup power. So we might actually be able to get rid of some other stuff if we deem it necessary. Man, constant injuries, eh? Work conditions are optimal everywhere, but we're still seeing injuries everywhere. Fortunately, they're not very bad. No one's like dying or anything, but people are getting injured a lot more than I would like. Go ahead and hook you up, I suppose. Or let's do this just to clear out all these alloys. I know we already commissioned the movement of goods, but I really should have done this first. But this is good. These guys are being built now. That's all well and good. Cool, cool, cool. Going to see progress with housing as well, which means we'll actually be able to move people over. So yes, I want to get... you can see these guys are already at neutral. I want to make sure that we get propaganda going ASAP, right? ASAP. And that'll give us enough wiggle room to do waste recycling over here, which will then further give us enough waste then to do a lot. A lot. Well, I mean, hey, we're getting all these houses done, so we'll get the people coming through soon enough. Alloys coming through. I just wonder if I shouldn't prioritize these so I can plan around them a bit more. Speed time up a little bit further. This thing's being built up right now. This is great, because then we can get propaganda going sooner rather than later. This really should have been the topmost priority. And you know what? With the alternative life center done, we're already seeing decent stability. And once we get past that 400 population threshold, it'll be even better. And if we can get to 800, nothing like it, right? We're going to be sending a lot of non-workers over to Sector 5. That's the plan over here. Sector 1 currently can afford to send as many non-workers as we want over. So why don't we actually send, what, 260 non-workers over, I suppose? 360 even? Just to alleviate the pressure in Sector 1 a little bit? Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. Will they arrive a little too early, though, is the question. How quickly can we get all this stuff built is the concern. I'm working on this one right now. Here, why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and get 160 only non-workers from Sector 1 over to Sector 5, start that migration. And then the plan here, in case it wasn't already clear, is to get Sector 5 dedicated primarily to non-workers, and enough workers to work the waste treatment facilities and nuclear power plants and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's all non-workers, and we're using them to generate waste, which we can then use to help the waste treatment facilities, help the mushroom walls elsewhere, etc., etc., etc. Let's go ahead and make sure that propaganda has been activated here ASAP, so that we can go ahead and counteract any potential trouble. And then as soon as possible, we'll of course get waste recycling going as well, and hopefully the solar panels up over here will be done soon, and we'll be able to activate some of those additional stockpiles and stuff. Maybe it's time to get a nuclear power plant sooner rather than later, folks. I was wondering if I could do it, like, you know, after Sector 5 was fully up and running, leave it as the last priority for Sector 5, but it's feeling more and more like it has to be a top priority for Sector 5, even more top priority than waste treatment facilities, I think. Nonetheless, that is all talk and consideration for next time, folks. This is where we're calling it a session. I hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a hectic one, in my humble opinion at least, because opening a new sector is always a little jarring and a little nerve-wracking, but I do think it was necessary. We are now going to finally, again, optimize and maximize our use of our population to generate waste with which to generate every kind of resource, right? And then we won't have to worry about mining and all that good stuff. We'll still do it, obviously, but we won't have to worry about it as much. Separately, we also made some progress with regards to power generation on two fronts, not just the solar panels, but also the research of the nuclear power plant tech, which is going to be extremely helpful. Once we get those solar panels done, though, we're going to, I think, get this docking bay going, Hong Kong, and we'll be able to pull this docking bay off the line, so to speak, if we so desire. It's not necessary. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but separately as well, we'd be able to get this mushroom wall up and running as well, though again, I don't think it's really necessary until we, of course, want to get rid of our restricted food policies, which, hey, why not? Folks, again, I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, let me know down below. But as always, of course, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.